Hi, my name is Byron Martin here at Logie's Greenhouses, and today we're going to be talking about one of our tropical fruits, probably one of the most famous tropical fruits, the mango. This is Mangifera indica. It is a tree, tropical fruiting tree from South America, and has spread to most of the tropical areas of the world. And it's well known in the U.S. as there's a constant supply of them that we find in our grocery stores. So it actually is a very large tree, grows up to 60 feet, but there are mangoes that can be grown in containers, and we've been working on selecting varieties for that purpose for a number of years, and we've come up with a great one here called Pickering. And this is actually a large mango, grown to a standard tree, but it also has the ability to flower and hold fruit at a very young age. So a tree like this is about 4 years old from the graft, and this is its first season. It's fruited last year, but this is its first season that's put on a couple of good fruit. And a tree of this size can only hold that much fruit. You'd have to get it larger than this tree to put on more mangoes than two. So that's a lot of fruit for a little tree like this to carry. But these are full-size mangoes, and they will be ripening as we approach summer. The mango tree is actually quite easy to grow as long as we pay attention to a couple of things. There are dwarf mangoes, and generally these are plants that have somewhat restricted growth. We've tried those. They do okay, but they really don't perform as well as what we would consider a standard mango, mainly because of the vigor in the plant. Now, even though this tree here would grow to 60 feet, it's never going to grow to 60 feet in a pot, and that actually is what's dwarfing it. The greatest challenge to growing mangoes is to make sure you have a healthy root system, and the key to that is to grow them in clay pots in containers, particularly if you're growing them in a greenhouse or a sunroom in the north, where you're going to be sitting in damp soil without a lot of light pulling the moisture out. So that's one of the keys to growing them. What we do is we start out with a young graft. You can see this young plant right here. There's a seedling, the graft, the bud was done right there. And this little plant is ready to move up in size, and we're just approaching spring now. There'll probably be one more flush of growth on this young plant right here. They actually don't grow very fast. They grow by sections. You can see there's one shoot here and then another shoot came. So they make 1 or 2 growths a year in containers. So they're fairly slow growing, but a little tree like this, another 2, maybe 3 years, will start to fruit. Now, they flower very easily. That usually happens in the fall for us, for most of the varieties going into winter. In the areas where they grow them, there's usually a chill that stimulates the flowering. It doesn't seem to affect them so much in the greenhouses here. I think that just the drop from hot summer down to cooler winter temperatures, even in a 60-degree greenhouse, will stimulate flowers on them. However, if you're not getting them to bloom by putting them in a cool spot just for a few days, maybe a week, where they chill down into the 50s at night, that will help stimulate flowers on them. But even young plants like this is a little bit small, but the next growth on this can come into flower. As far as pollination goes, we don't do anything to them. They seem to pollinate themselves. You'll see a big spray of flowers come out, and then a few little peanuts or little peas form along that flowering stem, and those will swell and become the mango fruit. And if it's too much, they drop them. They'll hold whatever the tree can manage. So in terms of soil, we grow them in a standing potting soil, and you can see the tip burn here that we're getting on some of these older leaves. This is actually more of a nutrient problem, and it's very much cosmetic. We really don't pay too much attention to it. What it is there's nutrient deficiencies, or there's nutrient needs that the plant's pulling out of these older leaves. If they bother you, simply cut them off, but they seem to be pretty much constant on most of the container mangoes. It's probably a plant nutrition problem. However, if you give them a balanced feed, use an organic granule or something like that on the soil, on the surface of the soil, that should be adequate for fertilizing. And as in all fertilizing, you do it when there's flushing growth, slow down in the wintertime so you're not overdoing it. Believe it or not, this is only a 12-inch pot that we have here, and it really needs to be repotted, but with judicious watering and adequate fertilizer, you can see the size of the tree that it actually created just in that small container. Now, a plant that is this small in its container is drying out quickly, and that's key to keeping that root system healthy. So If you grow them in clay and you grow them what we call a little tight in the pot, you're going to have that quicker dry down. That keeps a much healthier root system. If needed, the tops can be pruned out of it. Remember that whenever you're making a cut, if we're making cuts up here, we're probably going to prune our flowers off. So it's kind of a slowly head a plant back. You don't want to cut it all off because you'll lose that next year's fruiting. There's not too many insects that actually affect the mango in cultivation in greenhouses. There's a lot of scale that get on them in the southern areas where they're out in the open, but in the greenhouses we really don't see anything affecting them, with the exception of some thrip. And greenhouse thrip actually can get on the leaves and feed on them. Just need to keep your eye on that. They're very easy to control with neem oil. So thank you for watching. There's a little bit of information on how to grow a mango in a pot in the north. If you'd like more information, go to logis.com.